Before they were the worst criminals in the world, or before they were the superheroes of the world, they were the worst hardened criminals that the world has ever seen. They were so bad that nobody would dare go near them. Their crimes had gone unnoticed for years, and yet never caught. Then finally, life caught up with them, and they were caught. But they changed their lives around for the better. They changed their outlooks on life. They all got hit with inspiration, and suddenly just ran through it. But you know what they say, that sometimes an old enemy can come out from the woodworks, or one that copies your movements. But, you know what they always say, sometimes it's better to be good than it is to be bad. Greetings, kids and nerds, and my universe, and my nerdy, and welcome to my review of The Bad Guys 2 this time around. If you remember way back in 2022, I admitted that I bought The Bad Guys just out of a whim of seeing how it was alongside of League of Super Pets. And if you remember, both of those movies were very damn good that I ended up putting them on my top 10 list, on my top 10 best films list of 2022. Now, I had no expectations going into The Bad Guy 2 because I had no expectations going into The Bad Guy 1 and came out loving it. Same like I did for the Legion of Super Pets. I had no expectations and end up coming out of it and loving it in the process. So The Bad Guy 2, it seems like how would you do a sequel from the original? Not to spoil the original for anybody that wants to go and watch it or have their kid go and watch it, but The Bad Guys is based upon a book series by the same name. And in the original, they were criminals that turned their life around for the better, only to be backstabbed by a certain person that was helping them out. So, how do you do a sequel? Well, you make the most convoluted plan ever. And I know some of you people are thinking that probably have seen movies like this or played Uncharted, like, oh, come on, how could they have pulled anything out of their hat? They ended up pulling a pretty crazy plot that ended up working pretty damn well. Hello? Well, let's dive back into The Bad Guys 2 and see exactly how the bad guys ended up becoming the good guys yet again. It's some time after the original The Bad Guys, ended. But, as luck would have it, we ended up finding that they're trying to change their lives around for the better and actually become hard-working citizens. Except they all run into the same problem. No one wants to hire them because they've been criminals for so long that nobody can trust them even though they change their life around for the better. The film goes through this very well, showing us of how hard they have it. But they do have it pretty damn hard, but unfortunately it gets worse. As they end up watching the news later on that day, they find out that valuable items have been stolen by someone called the Phantom Thief, who end up using the same tactic that the bad guys used years prior. As the police chief, or now commissioner, still thinks that the bad guys are behind it, as she wants to arrest them for everything that they have done, even though they turned their life around for the better. Including for Wolf and the governor to end up having a relationship together. Yes, that's right, these two are now having a budding relationship that kinda goes somewhere later. As the bad guys end up showing the commissioner, look, we didn't do any of this. Somebody is setting us up using our old tactics. But the question is, who? As the bad guys believe, because of Snake's new schedule and new outlook on life, the bad guys believe that Snake is turning against them and that Snake is the Phantom Thief. So they go to find and interrogate Snake. Now, where would be the point where they meet him? Where else but a wrestling tournament in Mexico? Yeah, why not? So they find Snake only to interrogate him for being the Phantom Thief, which of course they all attack him until somebody comes and rescues his aid.
If I knew you were expecting friends, I would have gotten more nachos. Because, well, I know you don't like to.
Okay, I've got like a million questions, but mostly what?
Yes, that's right. Somehow Snake got a girlfriend. And she's a crow or a raven named Beatrice, which is insanely weird. The thief, or thieves in this case, we'll talk about that later, enter the ring to fight against one masked man known as Handsome Jorge, and she actually is like a warthog. Had the bad guys step in to help, but instead they made things worse until this ended up happening. Which the film at this point becomes basically straight up WrestleMania, and for any WrestleMania fans, that's good and more power to you. But then the unfortunate ended up happening.
That belt?
Good luck getting out of this one, bad guys.
What? God damn you! God damn all of you!
So yes, the bad guys end up framed, and what's worse is that now they have no one to turn to because the entire world is now against them, thinking that they're criminals yet again. As Wolf contacts the mayor to try to get her to help, but unfortunately she's so stressed out by dealing with her mayoral duties, and especially looking after them as criminals. As the mayor, who was once the Crimson Paw, see the first movie to know what I'm talking about, decides to do a little undercover work by going to visit an old friend that was an enemy from the first movie. As Wolf returns back to the van, he returns with some, well, bad news, as he opened up the door and they're all knocked out because thanks to the Phantom Thieves. At this time around, the bad guys now meet their imitators, their Phantom Thief, or Thieves as they're known as because, yes, in this circumstance, there's more than one.
Yes, but you can call me Kitty Cat. I think you met my girls. Whoa! Holy shrimp!
I think so.
I think. Oh, hey, Susan! Actually, hey, it's Dim.
So a lot of you might be thinking, why did the Phantom Thieves kidnap the bad guys? What possible use could they have for them? Well, it's the most insane plot and scheme ever. They need the bad guys' help in order to steal a rocket from NASA to go up into space to use their evil weapon while it's in orbit.
I'm sorry. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
And meanwhile, the mayor, Diane, goes to visit a very old friend, Professor Marmalade, who just so happened to be in prison and serving, well, a sentence. As Marmalade explained to Diane that yes, he knows what's been going on. Yes, he knows about everything's evil intention, but she's not the first person to ask him. Diane knows what's going on. She knows that the bad guys have been set up, but she plans to know who did it. So yes, as per usual, the bad guys stepped right into a trap. As everybody seems to be bonding over the last heist, especially stealing an experimental watch, because they had to do that apparently, it's a nice moment. As Wolf talks to Kitty Cat, and he actually gets confession out from her that she ended up using the bad guys and ended up stealing the old heist schemes because they were so perfect. But unfortunately, they knew that was gonna happen, so they end up using the bad guys and also end up using the governor, Diane, in exchange. But not only that, they end up having the bad guy get arrested, and as well as the mayor, as footage that she was once the Crimson Paw, an old enemy and an old thief. The bad guy's mission was to use the MacGuffinite in order to steal all the gold from the planet and take off with it. Especially with them being in space, no one would be able to catch them, except for Wolf. As Wolf knew their entire plan and their entire intention, so he tried to fight against Kitty Cat so that way there he can save the world. But unfortunately, he needed some help.
Sure you do. Just stay down.
Man, she hot.
But unfortunately, the rocket ship is gonna crash right back into space, as per the usual, with all of them on board. Unfortunately, it looks like the end of them all. They're not actually dead, but instead they're being enlisted into basically a parody of the Men in Black. No, I am not even kidding. It just means that they're gonna heavily hint at a Bad Guy 3. And I can't wait to see if they really will do a Men in Black parody just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it. It just, please, for my own fancy. Yeah, but anyways, that was The Bad Guy 2, more or less. There was a bunch that I skipped over because not everything in this movie is important to detail. And it's really damn good, to tell you honestly. At first, when I first watched it, no, I wasn't really blown away by it. But then when I rewatched it again, especially before doing this review, it actually became clear that yes, the plot of the movie is actually very good, especially the rise of the hero, but then having them fall back down again, only to be assumed that they're going back to their criminal ways after they change to the point where nobody believes them. It's a great story, especially for something as well done as this. It's fantastic to even believe how basically this is all well planned out to turn everyone against the bad guys again, despite them no longer being the evil criminals that they once were. It's a very ingenious storytelling, and the way that the film handles it is very well done. Especially early on in the beginning of the movie, and it's not a joke, they give the origin to their car. If you ever seen my first review, or if you've seen the first movie, you remember the car that they were obsessed with? Yeah, the first 10 minutes of this movie gives the car an origin story. No, I'm not kidding. Is it important? Not really. Is it funny? Yes, but it's just not that important. So, when it comes to The Bad Guy 2, it is an insanely decently done movie and a really damn good one. Does it hold up to the original? In my opinion, it doesn't come close. But is it a bad thing? No. It told its own story, wanted to do something that it wanted to do, and basically take its own spin on things. And it was pretty unique for doing so. As I have to admit that The Bad Guy 2 really did, pun intended, really blew me away by how damn good it was. Yes, it took more than one time for me to really actually like it and get into it, but that's not a bad thing. Sometimes the more that you watch a movie, the more enjoyable qualities that you'll get from it. Just like me, when I first called Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness bad, but the more I watched it, the more I realized how good it was. Shame on me. So, that means my Funko Pop rating of Bad Guy 2 gets an Inuyasha, because it really did blow me away. Maybe not the first time, but the second time around, oh, it definitely did. And it's a really damn good watch. So, if you So my Funko Pop rating of The Bad Guy 2 gets an Inuyasha. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every single time I upload. Otherwise, you know what's up with to keep it on. And let me know your own opinions in the comments down below. Do you think The Bad Guy 2 is a worthy sequel? And also, which film do you prefer better? Do you prefer The Bad Guy 1? Or do you prefer The Bad Guy 2? Let me know in the comment down below. And also, while you're down there, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every time I can upload, and follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe you both have a keep it on, and until next time, guys, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and take care.